Coffee Chat, and joining me today is Ashley. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Thank you for joining me for another one. And I think we're going to talk about something that's really on a lot of people's minds right now is rebuilding your savings.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had Hurricane Ida, we've had 12 to 18 months of COVID. Savings is probably taking a beating. So what are some tips that you would want to get out there for people where do I even start?
I think that the first place to start is reevaluating the situation you're in and adjusting your expectations to fit that mold. There is a new normal now. We have to adjust to that. One of the first things you can do is limit the non-essential spendings. Hold off on those until you have at least your 3 to 6 months of expenses saved.
What are some things that are considered non-essential?
Anything ranging from an unused gym membership to subscriptions and pricier cable or phone plans. You can definitely eliminate some of that and find some more cost-effective alternatives.
So, and there's a lot of apps out there that can help you start. I mean, it can be daunting. I don't even know where to start. So there's some great apps out there. Even most credit cards show some type of tracking for you to build off of. So let's say the individual is now, okay, I've cleared off some non-essentials. I'm pretty good now, but I still have some debt. How do they prioritize that? Like, what is a good way to start?
I think that we would suggest to prioritize paying off those higher interest debts first, get those taken care of, and then move downward from there.
Yeah, one of the great things that we've seen a lot of people take advantage of recently is that with interest rates being so low right now, they've refinanced some student loans, they've refinanced some mortgages. That is definitely something worth exploring, especially for a house. If you plan on living there for at least 2 more years, looking at current interest rates, it may make sense for you to at least see what that could look like.
Absolutely. You will save, it will reduce your monthly payment if you get a lower interest rate, and that can definitely help you set some more money aside.
And so talking about savings, and one of the next step is, okay, I've got a plan in place to where I've got money systematically going towards my savings, my checking, paying off student loans, car payments, tuition, whatever that may be. But one of the big things that people need to also look at too is like where inflation is at now. We still need to have that big pile of savings money still earn some interest. So taking a look at how their current investments are in this time frame may need to change too if savings is now a goal.
Right, absolutely. You definitely want to compare the rate on your savings account to those, in your area, see the different rates that you could get. But also you want to avoid too much speculation. You don't want to take your emergency fund and put that in something that's volatile. You definitely want to prioritize safety.
So when we talk about what we started with is putting together that budget, right? And we sit down with individuals who have already created a budget on a really nice, Excel spreadsheet, all the way down to, I don't even have it written down. I couldn't even tell you what my monthly expenditures are.
Right.
So when we sit down with someone for the first time, what are some items to help build out a budget for them we would want you, myself, and the other advisors, we would want to see at that first meeting?
So definitely any expenses, your house note, what you owe on that, vehicles, pretty much any payments that you have, and then something that actually your father is very, very prominent about mentioning is don't forget to put in a little bit to date your wife. Don't forget to date your wife. So definitely add that a little bit into the budget, but again, given the times that we're in, you have to watch out for that, but definitely prioritize that as well.
A happy wife, happy life, right?
Yeah.
It definitely matters. And so we've sat down with them for that first time, and now we've helped build out that budget. It's not an end-all, be-all. It's something that they need to spot check 30 days,
right.
90 days.
Things change. You pay off debts. Sometimes things increase. Another thing is if you pay off a vehicle, definitely try to hold on to that vehicle for a little bit of time. Maybe take that note that you were paying and put it into a savings account. Don't rush out to buy a new vehicle. I know I'm definitely struggling with that right now. I want to run out and get a new vehicle, but it's just not the time. You want to save that money and make sure that you're making smart choices.
Yeah, just because you made that last payment on that vehicle doesn't mean the vehicle's broken and needs to be thrown away.
Right. Be smart.
There's still some life behind it. And when we talked about taking care of debt,
Mhm.
right? Putting it in an order, a hierarchy. And we start with high interest rates and we work our way down.
Right.
One of the things that people sometimes struggle with is, okay, I've taken care of 25% of that debt.
Mhm.
And then the next thing you know, they added some to it.
Mhm.
So what are some maybe guidelines that you would want someone to start to adhere to, saying, hey, look, I've got this amount of debt. When I get it down to a certain level, what should I do next?
You know what? If you can get it down to a certain level, maybe you should look into consolidating that debt and getting something that has a lower rate overall. And definitely hold yourself to a standard and make sure that you're not charging too
The
much.
thing that we see the most is individuals that have too many credit cards,
Mhm.
and they've come up with them for a number of reasons. Right, the deal was too good, or I moved my balance from one to the other for the points. Once you start to pay off some of those cards, try to focus on a card that works for your
Mhm.
lifestyle and start to remove those other ones, because it removes the ability or the, oh well, I'm just put on this card. I got this one here.
Exactly. There's so many different cards out there for different goals. If you are into traveling or you travel a lot for work, there's cards geared towards that. I know Capital One has a Walmart card where it gives you a certain percentage off of all your Walmart purchases. So there's tons of ways out there that you can cut corners with credit cards.
And then
But
kind of to build off of that, I think one of the big things too is that once people start to see savings start to grow, it's almost like a game at that point. Okay, I
Mhm.
saved this much last month. What can I do this month? And you start to build from that. Because one of the cool things that I really like about my job is we can show future goals and what you
Mhm.
need to do to hit them. So it's a pathway. It's a roadmap, as we would say here in the
Yeah.
office. This is what you need to do to get from A to B to C, and these are some of the steps, right? And then we need you to start walking that path.
Right. And if once people start seeing that progress, like you said, it could be encouraging. Once you're like, okay, I've saved this amount of money, I've reached this benchmark, I need to, go here. It's very encouraging to know I've come this far and I can keep going. So definitely once you get started, it's easier to keep the momentum going.
Exactly. That first conversation talking about budget is never a fun conversation, but I've always found as an advisor, the second, the third, the fourth, and the fifth conversations get happier and happier and happier because people start accomplishing some of those small short term goals, and they're seeing that ball that start to snowball, but instead of a negative direction, they're moving in a positive direction now.
Exactly.
Well, this was an excellent topic, Ashton. I appreciate you bringing it to Coffee Chat, and I look forward to having you again.
Thank you for having me.
Excellent. So this concludes this edition of Coffee and Chat, and we appreciate whatever you want to add to that.